Alright, I did find out how to get rid of the giant horrible watermark. I'm just not going to edit the video at all, so I used keybinds to record. Alright, so I'm talking about the mute swan. It's a waterfowl species that comes from Europe. It was introduced in the mid-1800s to decorate parks, but they escaped and established feral populations. The main problem with them is the fact that they are considered the world's most aggressive waterfowl, or at the very least among that group. As you can see by this little picture here, they're infamous for terrorizing innocent native birds and any wildlife in the area, ruining their nesting grounds, that sort of thing, killing them even. And they also destroy native plants by eating 4 to 8 pounds a day, which can outcompete native species. And a pair can have up to 450 offspring in just 10 years, and they live up to 30 years. So they're going to be pestering you for 30 years, making probably double this number of babies. Okay, well, there are other swans that you'll see in Ohio. The tundra swan is migratory. You only really see it during the spring and the fall. But the trumpeter swan, a native species, is beloved by many, and it's currently a threatened species. As you can see, it kind of stands out by the red mark in the lower mandible. There are ways to tell the mute swan apart from both of these. That would be including the fact that it has an orange bill. Its neck is rather S-shaped, whereas these are kind of straight or C-shaped. It's got this big black knob right above its bill. It's horribly ugly, and the other two don't have it. And by call, it also makes it sound like a trumpeter, but it's quieter. And the only thing it's got going for it. Okay, so in order to deal with this issue, several states formed the Great Lakes Mute Swan Task Force, which is organized by the USDA, APHIS, and then various Midwest state wildlife agencies. So, as you can see, our Natural Resources Division of Wildlife Department for Ohio is in on this, and its personal goal, this state's goal, was to have no mute swans on public land and a zero reproduction rate. I had a typo here, but it's supposed to just say on private land or outside of public land. And that the date was set for 2020, but obviously it failed because it's 2022 and it's still an issue and we're still talking about it. So the task force overall's goal is really to advance the development of mute swan management strategies. Because they are legally protected, we can't just go around shooting them willy-nilly the way you would, like, I don't know, a house sparrow, how you can just BB gun, pellet gun it, and no one cares. You can't do that with a mute swan. And so part of this goal is to change things legally, but this was published, the document I based this off of, I believe, was published 2016 or 2014. It was an earlier date, and most of that stuff hasn't changed. There's been no real headway. I mean, the numbers have gone down, but legally speaking, they're still protected. So the goals and the policies that the Great Lakes Mute Swan Task Force works with is the Mississippi Flyway Council's policy. And so they have 3 main focuses to their approach. One is public outreach and education. So that would be informing people, just like the slideshow is, it would be informing people. Feral population management and resource protection, that's like, hey, let's keep our natives safe and let's get rid of the feral population. So that's kind of like, that coincides with Ohio's goal, to really just get rid of them. And then relief of human safety and nuisance conflicts. So part of what they do, people can conflict them, make nuisance complaints, and they will help. And so human safety, I suppose, is included with that. If it's in a problematic area, like if you've got swans living in an elementary school, you're gonna want to get rid of that, and it's gonna hurt someone. Okay, so what can individuals do? Well, because it's not a game species in Ohio, legally protected, it can't be hunted. So what you have to do is contact the task force to help you with removal. They do have permits to kill. They do have permits to destroy nests. They'll either walk you through the process of what you can do, which does not include killing, or they can actually send helpers, representatives, to deal with it for you, to trap it, shoot it, euthanize it, or, get rid of the nests and the eggs. So most importantly, another typo there, gosh darn it. Most importantly, you can report the sightings of mute swans and the trumpeter swans, since that is a threatened species. You report it to this email right here, and that helps them with their numbers and keeping track of things. I have some sources here, and I don't think the slideshow was working when I made this. I'll try to get it working by the time it's uploaded, but I don't know. I would check out the Envirothon reading. It's pretty easy to find information on this kind of stuff just by Googling, but be careful because some of the information is outdated.